You asked me what part of Project 2025 I don't agree with. I don't agree with the authors of it, number one, because I believe that we need to author our own future and our own agenda. So it doesn't matter about all the things that's in it, right? I don't know Liberty Group. They don't know me. And I'm sure that that agenda that they have is not aligned, you know what I'm saying, with the God-body agenda that I would have. And here's the thing. I don't care if it's the left. I don't care if it's the right. If you have a masculine agenda to remoralize and remasculize the society, I'm in agreement with you. Number one. If you have an economic agenda, right, that will create more opportunities, jobs, right, stimulate economy, right, specifically for my community, I'm in agreement with you. Right? If you have one that allows us to be safe, secure, and protect our own neighborhoods and fund money into grassroots organizations that do that, I'm in agreement with you. If you have one that goes against these big companies that spill chemicals into our foods, that poison the particle matter in our air, that constantly create these food deserts in our neighborhood with these fast food companies and things of that nature, if you're targeting to eliminate that and then replace that with, regenerative farming inside the neighborhood, I'm with that. So that's when it don't matter what side you on. I'm talking about when our agendas are aligned. We talking about creating a budget that has to automatically be allocated at a high level percentage to black media so that we can control our own influence platform, right? But we don't see those agendas and we're not focusing on it and we're not pushing that because it's not about what their agenda is, what is ours, to where we say that I don't like what they got, but what is it that we want? Now that is what I'm focused on writing up. That is what I'm focused on pushing. Because then you can have that to where it circulates. People can decide what they like or don't like. Yes, a reparations agenda. Yes, farming. Yes, reskilling of America. Right? I think that they're how China is able to create bans on certain toxic things that's within a culture that, degrade the youth. There needs to be bans on certain things. There's, matter of fact, should be a ban on calling your company Black Entertainment Television if it's not black owned. It should be illegal to me, regardless if you have a black centric audience. I think that should be considered a hate crime down there. In that essence, when we talk about revisionist history, it's one thing to say what can't be taught in schools, but then we have to revisit what is taught in schools. The movement of sexual liberation is not a black movement of America that is of a high value and standard that changes black America. But they conflate the two to say that these are one when they're not, which is why you see certain people benefit more than others, because this is the thing, black man specifically, you're not advocating for yourself. And that lack of self-advocation is hurting you, hurting your child, hurting your brothers, hurting your uncle, and it's hurting the families that's coming out of these broken males that's not turning into men. How do I know we're not advocating? Because we have the worst statistics out of everybody in America across the board. And there is no state of emergency being declared. So if we do not have advocation for ourselves, and our own projects and campaigns that we push to change the statistics in America that plague us on a daily basis, right? Then there is no other focus. There is no other war. But if we have that and we walk into the room every single time with that agenda and we say that this is our demands, then we have a way to measure progress. See, the women's movement have a way to measure progress. The ADL have a way to measure progress. They say, well, listen, if our PAC backs a candidate that is pro-Israel, that's a win for them. More influence, more power, more political power. If the LGBT PACs and agenda get people in corporate position and political position to push legislation and bills that move towards what they believe is the type of world that they want, that's a win for them. If white men put out Liberty Group Project 2025 conservative rules that they want, That's a win for them. If the liberals, but when it comes to the side of the Democrats, Democrats don't represent black people. It represents a political party. And we need to separate these two things. So when we say, okay, what represents good culture, right? What represents our values, then it is creating a plan around that. And like I said, that is going to be my focus. Not just me, but working together with others to see how can we create that plan to where we have something that we can push out. Now, Blue Pill brought this to my attention. I'm going to do a whole breakdown on this. There's something that I want you all to look up, and it's the Moynihan Report, and it's called The Negro Family. See, he said something to me that I thought was bars. He said, they won't spend no money to talk to you, but they will spend money to talk about you. See, you're going to find out something in this country that the one thing that they don't ever want you to know is how much power you have. Jaylen Brown, they tell him that he's not safe enough to play in the Olympics. He wins the MVP. He wins the championship, right? The man is amazingly intelligent and smart. Yet, if you don't bow down to institutions, and then none of your brothers is going to stand up for you at the same time. They're going to go up there, they're going to shake Obama's hand, and they're going to be happy. The biggest issue that black men in America have is a lack of backup. So black men in America never truly feel like they can be at their highest level of self because nobody's helping them. Who's going to come to your aid? So I think that that is the game plan that they're constantly trying to push, and what you have to do, and this is the part of the strategy. What you have to do is, there's this thing where people tell me, Keys, I couldn't come on your platform, you weren't safe enough. What's this safe shit? I keep seeing this shit come up, all this safe shit. What the fuck you trying to be safe for? I hate it. It's disrespectful because we don't know how much power we have. And that's all I hear when people say that. You keep coming to them instead of making them come to you. Right? And if you made them come to you because they have an agenda, at the end of the day, money is their God. They're ruled by that. And you, unfortunately, black community is in a chokehold by ad dollars. So the budget at P&G, the budget at Unilever, it controls black America and the actions that people take and the way that people show up and the way their values show up. So their actions are not aligned with their values. They can be like, Keys, I believe in what you're saying, but, and then that but is when they have to make a turn to drop off their values for the money, right? So they won't do the thing that pushes the envelope forward because, and it's not that they have to, because a lot of the white bosses and stuff don't even know about these things. They don't know that somebody's so-calledly not safe. You're designating that on people. Right? And so you're creating fear, you're running a scenario in your head, and you're making it come true by backing it up with your own actions of belief. It becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy and this self-reinforcing fear. And I know it because when I collaborate and I work with people, ain't nobody getting in no trouble. Everybody's good. Everybody wins. Everybody eats. But we're not updating our courage. Right? We're not updating our strategies. And so the people that I do work with, I all respect. Right? All respect. Now, there's a difference between somebody, not knowing how to move and understand the times that we in, where people be sometimes trying to crash out. That's different. I get that. Those people are dangerous to themselves because they're not smart enough to know how to move. Right? But when you are in these corporate positions, and you hold the budget and you can write the checks, it is your responsibility to have your own silent movement. I ain't saying loud. I want silent radicals. Some of you all can be silent radicals. And it's just in your actions. You show and prove. Right? So, unfortunately, the way I look at a lot of these niggas today is that they not worth anything. Like, when some things are black owned, it might as well be white supremacist owned because your values and ideology is aligned with somebody whom we looked at them and didn't like them because of their values. Black people were never taking judgment upon other people because of their skin color. It was because their values were completely against ours and didn't align with us. So we get confused. When people who look like us, we project our values on them as if it's a mirror, but it's not. Their values reflect their mind, their spirit, their soul, right? Their beliefs. And so being able to project and put out what are the most important values to us, that then becomes the bridge to say, bro, I see what you said, that it was important to you. And black men that tap in with me, they tap in because they say, oh, bro, I rock with that God body, man. I rock how you speak truth. I rock how you inspire us. I rock how you show different things. I rock how you move your platform. I like the values that you represent and that you stand up for. That's it. Let me see what the brother Elijah said. First, we need to stop Trump, get in our office, save democracy, and then we can organize our people and create our initiative. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. That's what we say every 4 years. There's no saving democracy, first of all. You're putting too much on it. I don't think Biden will survive at the end of the day. If he was to win, it'd be Kamala in that office, number one. But there's no saving democracy. Democracy been dead. There's no saving it. And respectfully, we need detailed plans. And something got to shake up. At some point in time, shit got to shake up. And I'm going to tell you something that I was listening to in this report that came out. It was explaining how it was a 2011 report that came out. Now, you all can look this up. Interesting. I'm going to do some even more research on it. But it was explaining, and this is something that men don't think about enough and we don't think about enough, how, over the last 50 years, testosterone has went down in America. And what people don't realize is that has an effect on the way that men think, and it has an effect on your political beliefs, and it has an effect on your political loyalties. So this 2011 study did a study where they had basically increased the testosterone by providing shots to Democrats. And what they would see is, their political beliefs change over time. It would decrease the loyalty that they had to their party, and it would lean them over more to the right side, which is very interesting. And I'll give you I believe, which is, even without that, I can understand it. We have a generation of effeminate males. And it makes you, instead of become your own hero, you seek a savior. And it's been that way for a long time now, right? When my brother had just spoke upon, saving democracy. My father's generation, of course, that's not how they talked. Not my grandfather's generation, none of them. I don't think none of them thought about voting as a revolt and as like a revolutionary thing. At least not from my family side, right? And like I said, you can vote if it's strategically aligned with your values to produce change. But what we have is this lack of archetype, where a man who steps into the chaos to bring order to it, he has this feeling and this belief within himself that he is a hero in his own story. An undying belief that he can cross all barriers and all roads and he can handle it. And instead of that hero archetype, we have so much victim mentality that we have in our minds today. And we're so fearful. So instead of projecting ourselves into the story that we're going to be the ones that make and manifest change, and we're going to be the ones that bring order to chaos, we relinquish that responsibility and project it onto someone else. And if I look at the state of black men in America, it is a crisis. Physically, it's bad. Mentally is bad, spiritually is bad, financially is bad, politically is bad, right? And the testosterone levels of men in America, because testosterone, and we talk about this tonight on Man to Man, is that molecule of testosterone makes you want to face challenge and go through tough challenges as pleasurable. Like you look for adversity. You're constantly growing through a challenge. But conversations that are steeped in fear is not a man conversation. The warrior mentality has been rooted out of a generation and has been replaced with this victim cowardness that is so far from being relatable that I don't even recognize a lot of men anymore when I talk to them. It's not relatable at all. And one of the reasons that this warrior mindset has lost and his manhood has lost is because of the lack of course, fathers, but rites of passage. There is no ritual to evolve the boy into a man. So the psychological boyhood continues to perpetuate throughout the male's existence. And he's confused because physically he looks like a man, but psychologically he thinks like a boy. So until rites of passage are rerouted into society, you can't even trust what the men believe today. And women sense this. Women sense it. They know it. They know that the men of today are not like it used to be. They know that these men are not like their fathers, not like their uncles. They know that. They know that it is not the same type of manhood. It's not the same type of generation. They know that. They know it's a difference. They sense it. And this is why you get the flipping of the archetypes to where what happens is they take on the archetypes that were normally associated with the male characteristics and they start developing it within themselves because you don't have it. So now they're going to think with that logic and that assertiveness. So now they're going to be the one with the spiritual wisdom, and the intellectual guide. They're going to be their own heroes because they don't see it in society projected in the men that they speak to. And now the men are the ones that's focused on the romanticism and the, beauty and aesthetic of self. That's why we got the nails and that's why we got the purses now and why your hair is done and all of those things. But if you ask what's in his mind, there's nothing going on up there. He doesn't have those visions and those thoughts. He's focused on his desires, not his visions. And so you can't even trust the decisions of society today. And this is not fault of just this generation. This is from decades of demoralization, decades of agenda that has been placed on us. The black man ain't just getting to the crosshairs of society. This has been done by both sides. The Moynihan report, as I was talking to my brother Blue Pill, was talking about how when a black man grows up in a single family household, he has to be disregarded from society, but then it also speaks upon the value that he has in America in the political process, to where they're going to speak to your mind but ignore your voice unless your mind sounds like their voice. If they have not infiltrated your mind with their ideas and their beliefs and their agendas, then they don't want to hear it. But if your mind speaks for itself, then they must ignore it. They must discredit it. They must ban it. They must shadow it. They must cast doubt on it. They must villainize it. That's the reality of America. And as we talk about these reports, if we're going to talk about reports, we need to speak on more than one report. We can't talk about one. We got to go through them all. We have to now start looking at these agendas. If we're going to have conversations about agendas, we need to have conversations all across the board about agendas that we agree